So we're going to draw a three-dimensional model of the dice. The first way we will do it is using a wireframe modeling technique. So the size of it will be 50 cube with 5mm diameter dots on the front. So the first thing we'll do is go to 3D wireframe, and I'm going to click the top of the view cube here to bring my axes into the orientation so I can see the X, Y and Z axes. Now, using just 2D drawing techniques, we'll draw it with absolute coordinates. So we're going from 0, 0, 0. Notice we've got the Z-axis, the Z coordinate in there now. And I can then use point and shoot once we're underway. So we'll go 50. Just have to zoom down to the size. And I've got my polar tracking on. If we have a look at the settings of it, I'll only need 90 degrees, I think. So 50 back that way, and I should be able to close that. So there's my base. Now, with wireframe and 3D work, offset is not much good to us, but we can use the copy command. So if I copy those objects, select it on the corner, once again using polar tracking, and I can bring that up 50. That saves a bit of work. Just rotate it slightly so you can see all of the sides, and then we'll go a line like so, and I could copy that across to just from that point, move it to the other corners. So there's my wireframe box. Not terribly friendly, but you can get the idea that it's a cube. Now I want to put the dots on the faces. Easiest way to do that is to put some construction lines on, and you're never going to be able to put things in 3D without actually placing them on objects or giving them specific locations. So if you know anything about gambling, the sides of a dice, opposing sides add up to 7. So if we've got 1 on one side, it'll be 6 on the other side, and 4 and 3, 5 and 2. So let's just put a couple of the sides on first of all. So first of all, 1. Now what I have to do is change the orientation of my UCS, my user coordinate system, so that I'm actually drawing on this face where I want the dot or the circle. I'm going to use 3-point. It's the method for changing the UCS. First of all, it asks for the origin, then the direction of the x-axis, then the direction of the y-axis. So you can see my grid has changed, so I'm actually drawing on that face as my two-dimensional surface. So now it becomes very simple to use a circle, pick up the midpoint of that line, and it's in that orientation. So I've chosen radius, so I'll put in 2.5 as the radius, and there's our first dot. I'll just do one more. So we want to draw on this other side now. So I need some construction lines so that I'll be able to place it on that face, or on that, it's actually in space, but it appears like a face. A little bit tricky there as far as getting the correct position of it. I'm going to do a line across the diagonal. I'll pick up the midpoint, and then I should be able to draw from, or to place them on the midpoint. And I'll just put one more line in vertically. There's probably a dozen ways you could do this, but that should give me the positioning for 6 circles. Now, because that is in the same orientation as my XY plane, that would work to put circles on that surface, but just to be sure, let's change the UCS to that face So we're working on that as though it was a 2D surface. Circle once again, we'll place it there, and we want a radius of 2.5, and I'm going to use copy. And we'll just put a copy on all of those points. Now what we can do to make the thing look a little bit easier to look at is perhaps make a new layer, construction layer, and just give it a different color, and I'll change those lines to that new layer, and then if we wanted to, we could actually turn that layer off, but we've still got our construction lines there. Alright, so that gives us the general idea of how we would do a wireframe model. We've got 1 on that side, 6 on that side, and then we'd continue in the same way and put 4 on one face, 5 on the 4 on one side, 3 on the next, 5 at the bottom, 2 on the top, and so on.